All right. Gosh, darn it. Oh. I double whammied myself with the audio. This is embarrassing and sad, but I will continue on. I'll, I'll push forward. So, to recap, for those who couldn't hear what I was speaking of since I was completely muted, quicker recap. So, I just got done with the Tales from Loop campaign, and I'm shifting gears. So, Tales from Loop was pretty cool. I got to game with some really awesome people. And I kind of noted I've been saying awesome a lot. I really didn't used to do that, but with the group groups actually I've been playing with are pretty that. So I'm looking for other words lately. But one of the things I want to kind of get into is the new campaigns that I'm running. They're coming up. I'm taking this week off of other streaming, and then I'm running two simultaneous campaigns, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's going to be an experience. I've only done this once before. When I first ran Masks and Urban Shadows, and it was quite the experience. The great thing about both those campaigns is a the fact that uh, GM prep took so little time. I used to run actually I used to run a little like a mini stream preparing for both of them, and it was just it was like an hour long thing, and it never made it to the hour. It literally took me 20 minutes tops to prepare for this, and that's it. There's my beautiful wife in the background. She says hi. My space is not my own. But anyway, yes, I'm a poor thing, as she will tell you. My, but anyway, where was I? Yes. So yes, so that doesn't those neither of those games take a whole lot of game prep, which is pretty cool. They were, and they were both powered by the Apocalypse systems. Of course, being different games, slightly different. Uh, but yeah, so it was kind of easy to keep things together. Well, this is two separate systems. One again is powered by the Apocalypse, Monster of the Week, and the other one is a newer system. It's Kids on Brooms, inspired by Kids on Bikes. And it's kind of a note on that. So Kids on Bikes is very much game emulating Stranger Things. So when I was kind of looking for a kids game, like where the player characters were like teenagers, that kind of thing, I was kind of torn between that and Tales from Loop. And Tales from Loop won out, uh, but yeah, it was really close. One of the things that kind of turned me off was the fact that in Kids on Bikes, there was a big thing about one of the characters was like a combined character, like all the player characters, well, all the players, I should say, would take turns controlling this like super powered character, like a seven or whatever the heck her number was in Stranger Things, and that kind of thing. And plus, there's like this rule. Basically, there's no pulling punches in violence, which I kind of didn't like for that campaign. But the idea is acceptable in Kids on Brooms. Basically, the idea was like if you rolled well enough, you could actually murder a kid, and in a scuffle. It's completely possible. It's unlikely, depending on whether or not your skill is high enough in the beginning. But yeah. So I didn't like that, but the way they kind of frame it in Kids on Brooms makes things a whole lot better. I like the fact that there are mitigating circumstances, like in the sense of like oh yeah, if it's time for these two kids to fight, as long as they're supervised by a faculty member, the damage to either one can't go above this. So basically, yeah, they're going to get a bruise at worst, and that kind of thing. So for Kids on Brooms, that's more acceptable. There's mitigating circumstances, and plus, yeah, they kind of stress the idea. No, I don't want to say stress, but they mention the idea that yeah, don't even worry about rolling rolls for like little wrestling things. Wrestling scuffles you're going to get into. That's nothing. So yeah, so Kids on Brooms is very much as I forget who it was on Twitter that you first used it, but I've been using it since. It's Harry Potter's with the numbers filed on, and it really is up to they have brooms, they have wands, and the wands have cores, and that kind of thing. But yeah, so I mean, my goal is to make it not a complete Harry Potter simulation, but enough of one that the people who that's what they came, that's what they got their ticket for admission for, kind of get that experience. So yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to both of them. The prep is, I want to say, not horrible for both of them. I think so for Kids on Brooms, I'm pretty much just gonna have to, I have several scenarios already and things going on in the background, though I fully intend it to be run, equally as like a day in the kid's life. What are they doing? What kind of trouble are they getting themselves into? I don't necessarily need to create any for them to do so, but I definitely want arcs or things happening that affect them, that kind of push them to try this or that kind of thing. So that's gonna be cool. Um, so yeah, that's that. So it's gonna be more of what scenario am I thinking about this time, and NPCs aren't totally difficult to create, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's not horrible. For Monster of the Week, I think there's a little more. It still is pretty easy. I think the hardest part for me so far is inspiration. So I kind of want to do like I want to run some standard, run of the mill, this is a vampire, this is a ghost type of thing. But I also want to get out there and do something that maybe the players aren't expecting, or that are kind of, off to one side, but are still very much Monster of the Week material. I'm not gonna, my goal is not to take them out of the whole Monster of the Week feel. Like I'm not gonna do aliens. I just will not do aliens. I can't do aliens. It's always going to be something supernatural or unnatural, that type of thing. But my goal is to kind of, do just other things. I want them to not be bored, or I know exactly what I know exactly what the weakness for this monster is, type of thing, every single time. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I already have several things going, and so this next week, as I'm off from streaming and all that kind of good stuff, my goals are to kind of put together some more scenarios for both games, and then also, um, what do you call it? I have to get the intro videos done. I'm desperately trying to get those done. I have inspiration for both of them. It's just a matter of getting the right media together and putting them together. So it's coming along. I have some interesting new things I'm trying out with the Monster of the Week one. I was, again, you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone every now and then, try new things, and that's what I'm going to do with that. So it's a little different than my normal. I think Kids on Brooms is going to be a little more standard, but I'm going to try to mix some new things in there also. See how that goes. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, but yeah, and the thing about these two campaigns is, um, let's see here. I think with the exception of one character, or one player rather, I think these are all new to me. There's Robert from the Tales from the Loop campaign is playing in the Kids on Brooms campaign, so I know him. And again, as I kind of was talking about before, I realized, thanks to Eminem there, that I wasn't my mic was not working properly, and that's something I keep forgetting. And for some reason, I think Streamlabs did like an update that set everything like back to defaults, and default isn't the right setting to pick up my Yeti here. But anyway, as I was talking about before, it's weird to take on completely new players in a campaign, people you don't know. Um, it's a little scary, you don't know what to expect necessarily. You don't know them, you know. So my standard thing these days is to basically put it on Discord. Pretty much anyone who's played in a full campaign of mine before pretty much is in, if they want to be. So they have first dibs. I also like to think that's like a Benny of actually playing in one of my campaigns. Like when you come upon another one that you like, you're pretty much in, assuming there's spots and stuff like that. Um, but outside of that, put out the word on my Discord. There's also my questionnaires. I brought the questionnaires, basically asking questions like, what are your lines and veils? That's an interesting one that I just started putting in. So lines and veils are, um, a line is a role playing thing it's a line you won't cross. It's something you do not want to role play. It's something you don't want to be in a role play. Um, so, for example, my major one is sexual assault. I have a line of sexual assault. I will not, in any way, shape, or form, role play a sexual assault. Period. They don't. It's as if they don't happen in the universes that I role play, that I GM. I just won't do it. That's my line. And then you have your veils, which are things you want to fade to black on. Like, it's okay if they happen, but let's, after we realize what's going on, let's fade to black. Like, and for that, for example, my veil is sex. Like, I've been role playing for a long time, and let me tell you, in the early days, as a youngin, sure, you know, as a whatever-year-old virgin, we role played out like, ooh, so what do you do? Where do and those days are long gone, long gone. And I have no need for anyone to roleplay out a sex scene for me, or to do it myself, or anything like that. I don't need that. Nobody needs that, in my opinion. It's not something I want to explore in my role playing. So like sex happens, but yeah, as soon as we establish that yes, things are getting a little funky, then we can fade to black and all is right in the world. Go on with life. Go on with the scene. Yeah, after that kind of thing. So yeah, so that and then the reason I include that in the questionnaires now is because I really do see the value in lines, veils, the X card, etc. Um, and it's just really important that refer to it as getting funky from now on. Hey, whatever works. So yeah, and I lost lost my train of thought. So yeah, I mean they're important. I don't want to traumatize any of my characters. Um, and it's really weird. I think I talked about this in another. In fact, I did talk about this in another talk show thing. But I was bringing up the fact that like earlier on, like in my gaming life, gaming was all about like challenging your players and like pushing them to the next level, like getting them emotionally involved in things, and the thing that we as like a as well, we and I use is my gaming groups. The thing that we as the gaming groups I was involved in never really took into account, and I think this is pretty standard, for that day and age, was like maybe you're traumatizing somebody by doing that. Maybe this, pushing them to that next level of RP is not making them a better RP or more, in their character. It's actually causing them some kind of trauma or it's making them uncomfortable. And you come to gaming sessions to have fun, to be challenged, certainly, and to kind of, be put on the edge of your seat, definitely. But I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to be the cause of anyone's anxiety, beyond like the anxiety you feel doing a roller coaster that I'm putting myself out there in danger type thing. So I don't want to be responsible for that. My players don't deserve that. So this is very important to me. And secondly, the great thing, well, not the great thing, but the reason I ask for lines and veils in applications now is to make sure it fits with uh, my campaign. Like, um, for example, this past Tales from the Loop campaign, if I had brought, was thinking of bringing someone on, and one of their lines was, harm to children. It's like, well, I get it, but that doesn't fit with my campaign because I want at least these kids to get in a scuffle or feel like they're in danger, even if they're not actually, So okay. So this person, his or her line doesn't fit with my campaign, so I'm just not gonna bring them on, and that's best for me and for them. Yeah, yeah. As Eminem points out, we want things to be scary, fun, scary, not scary, scary. Yeah, you don't want to. It's one thing to ride the roller coaster and like woo. It's another thing to ride the roller coaster and the bar that's holding it on your lap comes unlatched, like right before a loop. That's scary, scary, and no one wants that. No one that I hang with. So yeah. So basically, getting back to the questionnaire, these are the questions I ask are both for me and for the prospective player. I try to get information out of them, like, am I going to be a good GM for you, and are you going to be a good player for this campaign and with the other people that I'm bringing on board, and that kind of thing. So very important. So yeah, so once I put those out, bring people in and bring them onto the Discord. I do my tech checks. There's only like one individual still I'm still waiting on, but we'll get to them. And basically that's to make sure that when we do stream, they're good to go, that they really do have like working equipment, a mic and a camera, or properly, or even a properly selected, mic or camera. That tech check is also for me to help them work out any bugs. Like, okay, so I'm not seeing it quite right, so let's try adjusting it here. There's like a background light that's messing with the iris on the camera. So let's just move that. All right, now perfect. You're doing great. Excellent. Tech check passed. Bye bye. Good job. And so yeah, so I do that, and then kind of talk to them. And again, I did a good job. I think I lucked out, and there's some pretty cool people that have come on board. And the great thing about this is this new, I'm not calling anybody a batch, but this new group of role players that are new to me is that, again, once we get past this campaign, potentially it's less people I need to, go out there and get new blood for on the next round and that kind of thing. Because I have people that I've gamed with, that I trust, that trust me, and that I have the ability to um, kind of put myself out there and make sure that the campaigns for them, etc. I know them better, but that's the extra Benny. So my hope is that I'm eventually going to get to a point where we're continually bringing in new blood, but also have that balance by um, people who are established in my circle, in my Discord, and in my campaigns and that kind of thing. So that's the goal. And of course, if one of these people has a friend that they're willing to vouch for, yeah, heck, bring them on board. Let's do this. A friend of yours is a friend of mine. I trust you. So yeah, that's gonna be cool. And this is also, I'm not sure if I mentioned, this is also the first time I'm playing or game mastering either of these games. I played Powered by the Apocalypse games before, but each is different in its own sense. It has its own, reality that it's trying to portray with the rules. So, you know, whereas I played Urban Shadows, and it has a lot of similar-ish characters, um, or playbooks. The what it's trying to get across with those characters is very different. Urban Shadows, for example, is all based on like relationships. It's based on contacts and people you know and people you interact with. And those people you interact with push the story forward. Without those interactions, there's no story. Um, whereas Monster of the Week is very much serial like, in the sense that it's like a TV show. It's The action comes from new situations every week. In my case, is going to be a bunch of nomad hunters that are going, from town to town as investigating things and hopefully killing evil creatures, that kind of thing. So that's cool. So yeah, so it's different, and it's a new set of rules I have to learn, and I have to kind of peel myself away from that Urban Shadows mentality, because this is not that game, and it's not trying to accomplish the same things, not trying to put the characters through the same paces, that kind of thing. So again, it's a learning experience for me on both sides. And at least Powered by Apocalypse, I get the idea. I understand moves, understand misses. If you're going to get into a Powered by the Apocalypse game at all, the first thing I want you to understand, if you're going to GM or play, is figure out what a miss is. The idea that a miss is not necessarily a failure is key to any of these systems. I'm putting it out there right now. And because of that, it makes it so much more interesting and gives it so much more depth and so much more. Let's you as a GM unleash some more creativity on it. So it's really cool. Um, so on the other side, we have Kids on Brooms, And again, uh, totally new system to me. Though I've read it over quite a bit. I've not played it, so it's going to be one of those things like, oh, I finally get this as we play it, and that's cool. Um, Again, and that's a totally different experience. This is the, we're not trying to necessarily kill a whole bunch of monsters. This whole game is about, what's life like in a magical wizard school type of thing. The strange, the things that happen, the dangers, that, and even the daily dramas. There's got to be the equivalent of a prom. Can you imagine what that's like? Pardon me. So, so yeah, that's good. It presents a different kind of challenge to me as a GM, in that, um, again, I have to accomplish those several levels of things. I have to give the players the feel, that experience of this wizard school simulator, where you're actually, this is, here's, on this level, this is where experiencing things, it's just about going to the school, and the things that happen, like, the cliques, the bullies, all that stuff. And then on another level, it's about, okay, well, this is not just a magical school. This is a magical school where, you know, weird things are happening. So I have to build that on top of it. And then, kind of guide them between those two layers, if you will. And I can see a lot of overlap. So it's an interesting challenge for me, and I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the reasons I actually chose that game as coming out this cycle. So yeah, so I'm happy about that. Um, I like pushing myself as a GM. As I've kind of I've told people, it's like, so in my life there are only a few things that I think that I'm like really good at, and there's like three of them, and one of them is, I like to think, game mastering. And if you've seen any of my former campaigns, maybe you're like, wow, dude, if this is like one of your best three things, you need to find a new thing, and that's quite possible. But I like to think that I've been doing this for decades now. I think I've been a game master more than a player by far, and in fact, I think the last time I was actually I'm trying to think. I have to remember, last time I actually played a character in a game was like, I want to say 2 years ago. And now a friend of mine, Lloyd, uh, uh, thanks to Steve, getting me in touch with him. We were both in his Masks campaign. It was actually it was a four session campaign. But that was like the last time I was a character, like a player character. Since then I've been the GM, and that's cool because what I'm playing, I love playing the character. I really do. I love, me being responsible for me, if you will. And really, when you get down to it, you're, as a player, you're also responsible for, creating situations to make the other characters awesome too. That's kind of part of your job too. And that's another Powered by the Apocalypse thing, which I've tried to bring across all games. As a player, one of your things is, you're not responsible for yourself, but you're responsible to make situations where your fellow players can feel like their characters are awesome, and that kind of thing. So it's cool to be the player, but every time I'm like, wow, I would have done this differently, this or that. If I was a GM, this was what would have happened, and I keep finding myself doing that. And suddenly it's like, it's not like I don't have a good time, because I really, really, really do. I love being a player character. Um, but there is also this kind of, um, I don't know, this sensation I get as a GM where, being able to, as a GM, you're an experience vendor, if you will. You you give out experiences to your player characters, and again, they can help create experiences for each other. But by and large, your job is to give them new experiences as players and as characters. And I just like that level of creativity. That's kind of what resonates with me. So whereas I love being the player, and I will take that anytime, I oh, drug dwarf, how you doing? Speak of the devil. Oh, and thank you for the follow, drug dwarf. If there's any question that can be asked, what do GMs, uh, what do GMs like you do to look up to? That's a good question. Let's see here. Good question. Let's see. Oh, so what do I do that I look up to? So when I see as a GM, and again, Joe Dorf is another I think often GM. Uh, but I think what I look up to is someone who who gives the player the experience that they were looking for. Like to bring back, for example, uh, when Lloyd, my friend Lloyd, he lets me call him Lloyd. When Lloyd ran me in Masks, there was this one scene where I basically my character I was playing this girl who was basically kind of like I kind of patterned her on like the Green Lantern Corps, and so she was kind of like this galactic group had tried to choose their champion for this world, and that turned out to be me. So anyway, so I was kind of feeling the one of the things about Masks is you're a kid, you're playing a teenager, so it's like you don't have full control of your powers, and it's made to feel like yeah you're powerful, but it reinforces the fact that you still have so much more focus to build this is something you'll have when you're an adult and have you know fine-tuned your powers and whatnot. um but for now you're kind of everything you do is going to be a little messed up. So I felt like that the whole time, which was exactly what I needed. But then Lloyd gave me this great scene near the pretty much at the end of the campaign, and it didn't have anything to do with my powers, and that's one of the things that made it so awesome. Uh, it was a scene where basically there was the thing was we went to this school of supers, and I was confronting one of the teachers who was actually in on this big invasion that was going on. She was evil, and I basically got to confront her. And with Masks, there's some mechanics where because she's an adult, that has an effect on me, and do I want to accept what she's trying to put on me or not, etc. I won't bore you with that at the moment since you're not here for the Masks show. Um, but basically, I made my role, and it happened at just the right time. So basically, I got this moment where she tried to tell me to lay down my arms pretty much and let happen what's going to happen. And instead, I came through and I riddled off like, "You are in violation of the treaties of Sorcorion," and I read off off the top of my head, I made up all these different internet not international but interstellar treaties that she was breaking, and my role was just so perfect that uh I got her. I scared the crap out of her. She retreated. She got out of there. I won. And this was one of those experiences I was looking for. This whole I'm in control. And the beautiful thing, and the reason that he is such an amazing GM, is again this had nothing to do with my actual powers of my character. It was all about what I really wanted as a character, which was control, to be viewed as a professional or like an adult kind of thing. So yeah, something like that. That's what I look up to. People who can bring that kind of experience in. Um, again, I one of the things I try to do as a GM is, and I think I've done in the past, and what I'm going to try to do in these is, again, what is that thing that the character or player is looking for? I want to give that to them, and I want to give it to them when they themselves have forgotten about it, or decided it wasn't that important, or that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I like, and that's what I look up to. People who can do that as GMs, people who can give their players this experience where they walk away and it was like, wow, that was like one of the best things ever that ever happened in my gaming life, and that was one of those. Um, so yeah, that's pretty awesome. And there I go using awesome again. Yeah. So again, thank you, Drug Door, for that question. It was awesome. yeah, so that's one of the things I look for in a GM, and I try to emulate. Um, and again, I was actually I mentioned on my Discord that I was at one point I at one point in creating a campaign or preparing for one, I always feel this sense of anxiety as a GM, because it's like, these people I've basically asked, hey, people who have joined my campaign, I'm asking you to commit for, session 0 to, character generation, and then 10 actual sessions of actual play. And so that's this, I don't want to call it a contract. This is this agreement we've come to. And part of my side of that agreement is that they'll have a fun time while they're doing that. So I have this anxiety with every single campaign I've ever done that I'm preparing for, where I'm in this place where I'm like, wow, what if I suck? Yeah, exactly, Third Dwarf. Uh, so yeah, so Dordor's asking, again, how do you get feedback at the end of a game to make it constructive? And that is a really great question. So I just kind of want to finish my thought on anxiety. So basically, yeah. So I get to this point where I'm feeling anxiety. Am I going to actually pull off a good show? I mean, is this going to be fun for them, or is this going to be like, at session 2, they're like, this sucks so bad, and I gotta, sit through, 8 more sessions of these or whatever. And this is like the worst gaming ever. I feel like I'm gonna have to call in sick to this a few times. So I get to that point, and can I put on a good show? And I think I have so far. And again, part of that is listening to my characters and what they're looking for. So to talk about Dwarf Dwarf, yeah. So to be honest, what my buddy Lloyd did is do the roses and thorns thing at the end, and I don't do that. I it is such a handy tool, but I don't do it, or I haven't yet, or haven't lately. So roses and thorns is basically, once the session is over, go around the table, and this can happen like on the stream or off the stream, or one on one even, but kind of go to them and say, hey, so give me a rose, which is what was a really good thing that you enjoyed about this session, and give me a thorn, which is what's some constructive criticism, and constructive is the important part. If you ever give someone a thorn and call them a moron or something, you've done it wrong. um but yeah, so roses and thorns, and I haven't, because I suppose it's kind of like this anxiety that continues with me as like a streamer, because again, one of the things I've told I bring up time and time again in videos and in my campaigns, is one of the reasons that I run these actual plays is because I want someone who's who's interested in a game to be able to see it played and see the experience without, before they kind of get into it. So actually, Jardorf, no. So the the reason that I'm not worried about the bad feedback that would increase my anxiety. I'm more worried about the fact. So like, I've seen so many, again, kind of, it's about the streamer thing. So I stream a lot of things, and again, it's because I love this hobby with all my heart. This is my favorite. Role playing games are my favorite thing in the whole wide world. If I could have one hobby, this would be it. And it's been a good portion of my life for decades. It's it's my thing. So I want to share it with people so bad. That's another reason I stream this, because I want to bring it to a different like community than I would otherwise have the opportunity to get it to. And I really want to share this. And I think I'm good at it. So you got to go with what you're good with. So it's not because it would increase my anxiety, but it almost, to me, again, it's not the tool that's it's not what the tool's used for, but I feel like the roses are me begging for compliments. So it's like, for the stupidest reason, I don't do it. uh but it's like, you know what, I don't need and you see so many streamers are very full of themselves and stuff like that, and I never want to do that. I'm not here for that. I'm here because I enjoy this thing and I want to share it so badly. um and it's just like I don't, I also feel like, are my players going to be like, um are my players going to be, feel pressured into saying something nice about me? I don't, that gets to me, and I just can't do it. It's like, I'm not, I swear to God, roses and thorns is not me begging for compliments, but it's begging for, I want you to share the things that anyone at the table did well, myself included. And that's a cool tool. And again, I don't use it because I really should. I don't use it because I feel like, TLDR is, I feel like it's me begging for compliments. That's totally not what it's for. And it's to make things better. You improve whatever you're doing, whatever skill you're on, by being told, okay, you did this really well, and you did this not so well. And if you're lacking either of those, you don't advance. Do you ever just go, what would Matt Mercer do? No. I there are several GMs in my experience that are above me. that that like they're on this next level where I feel like it's a goal of mine to get there. Um but no, I don't do what would Mass Mercer do. I'm like, what would the best Scott do? And that's what I go for. Because Scott's the best I got, you know? Yeah. Thanks, Eminem. But yeah, so yeah, I'm like, for all those reasons, I'm looking forward to this new set of campaigns. It's gonna be a great time. Um just a new inspired group of players who are just ready to get down. Some have, especially for Kids on Ruins, is brand new. I think it's like under a month old. It just got off a Kickstarter. I'd really have to look, but so it's a new experience for everybody. Not a lot of people I've talked to. In fact, none of the participants have played even Kids on Bikes. So this is all brand new, and you know, we're all going to be experiencing a bit of it together. Thank you, Tim. Uh, it's important to keep everything in perspective. Again, I can totally improve, and I want to. Um, but yeah, you got to keep it real too. Okay, so so I think TFL games are pretty good, but it always feels like you consider people to be better at you than you gymming. Is there something that you're proud of? What would that be? I think that, so for myself, I do my best to kind of um get to know the characters, and it kind of it's kind of like on that whole masks campaign thing. It's like, so there's something that this character really wants. There's something that's important to them, or there's something that they don't even know about that has potential to make their character better or greater or more amazing than it already is. And I think one of the things I do well is kind of fish that out from them, like figure out what that thing or things are that would not only make their character better, but also give them those experience that they're dying for. I try real hard to do that, so I think that's one of the things that I think I do well. But there's all, again, I'm not putting myself down, but I think you can always be better. And again, with something that's so important to me, like role playing games, I always want to be better. And again, that's actually another reason I'm doing two simultaneous campaigns. This is not simple. It's a challenge. Whenever go into the realm of self-improvement, one of the big thing is always try to be a little outside your bubble of comfort, and this is, and I think it works. It works, or you feel a lot of anxiety and you fail. So it can go either way. But so far I've been doing all right. I've gotten past that anxiety part where I think everything's going to suck, and I'm kind of at that point where, like, okay, I'm putting things together, and I think it's going to be a cool experience for everybody. At least I hope so. But at this point, all I can do is kind of get out there. Again, a lot of the players are new to me, so I have to learn about them. I get to know them a little, and that'll give me some insight into what their characters are looking for too. So it's a process. So one of the reasons that um, it's kind of, again, it's inside your comfort zone to work with people, game with people. It's not a job. Game with people who are you're familiar with, because you don't have to do that exploration into them to kind of get that extra picture of what maybe their character wants and that kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, what I try to do is run a bunch of different systems. I find myself, I love Powered by the Apocalypse. I think I used to be a big Cortex Prime, now Cortex Plus, now Prime fan, but I think that's passed a little bit. And one of the reasons I love that was it. It was the first set game I really played where it said basically, help the player create the world with you. Like I played a campaign of Firefly, and it was the first time where it's like this book, the game told me, hey, you don't have to create everything. Ask the person how they know this person, and that creates the fiction. And that was awesome. I loved it. And then I found Powered by the Apocalypse games, and it took it to yet another level of that in a different direction. The one thing I don't play and I won't be playing are like I won't play D&D. I won't do it. I just won't do it. Uh, I got away from that years ago, and I never looked back. And I think there are again, things have changed. So to be quite honest, I haven't really um, refamiliarized myself with the systems. I don't know what the difference between 4E, 5E, all that crap is. But this is not my thing anymore. There's other things I want to explore. Um, and part of the apocalypse stuff does it. Again, this new system, Kids on Brooms, that's a part of. The Tales from the Loop was a brand new system, and I think it was really cool for what it was trying to accomplish. So yeah, I was really down with that system, and it was simple. That's another thing, I love simple to learn mechanics. Um, one of the things I love about Powered by the Apocalypse games, as I mentioned elsewhere, is that as a player, at least, if you know the basic rules and you have your character sheet in front of you and then the basic move sheet, or that kind of thing, that's all you need to know. If you know how to work the mechanics between those three things, you're golden. The GM has a little more to know, but even that, I mean, I can pretty much, once I get the system down, throw away the book as long as I have my basic move sheets and stuff like that to kind of keep me in line and remind me, that kind of thing. So it's like the idea that I have to, for like D&D, I have to get, okay, all right, so you need the player's guide, you need the monster manual, you need the GM's guide, you need and then every class gets its own book. And people are going to want to do some classes out of that. So it's like the idea of me spending, it's again, it's not the amount, it's the number of books and stuff. But my days, I like to think my days of spending, coming to a rules question and spending 15 minutes trying to look it up and figure it out, I like to think that's behind me because of the games I picked. There is no time that I will ever have to search through a book of any Powered by the Apocalypse game to find an answer for something that's literally right in front of me on the couple sheets that I need. I don't have to buy 18 different books to do that. So that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, again, I thank you for again, great, it's an excellent compliment. But yeah, there is still stuff I won't do. I would do anything for role playing games, but I won't do that. I will not do that. I will not do D&D. I just won't. If you see me doing D&D, I'm being held prisoner. Please call the police, send the appropriate authorities over. I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. Please help. Okay? But yeah. But yeah, that I keep hearing about like Pathfinder and what's the other one? Pathfinder and oh, Warhammer. But that again, different system, but too many books, too many freaking books. Good question. Let's see. That's a good question. So, do I prefer the rules don't get in the way of the story, or prefer that the systems integrate with the story? Ooh, that's really neat. I think one of the cool things about Powered by the Apocalypse, it not only doesn't get in the way of the story, it helps the mechanics themselves help create it. There's no integration. It's all, it always brings you back to the story. Like for example, Urban Shadows. If you like even the intro move where you're trying to, each character goes around and tells you a rumor or something they've heard involving them, then they roll for it. Well, that's just new fiction that they just created. When when you miss a roll, suddenly you move something else forward. You now made the story more interesting. Um, in Masks, one of the things I loved was the fact that, characters don't take damage; they take, was it, I think, conditions. And to clear those conditions, like for example, for angry, to heal angry, though, if another character didn't help you get rid of that condition of angry, you could do it on your own. You have to break something important. So and that act of breaking something important creates more drama, creates more goodies. I really like that mask scheme. It was awesome. Again, it was only 4 sessions. I was hoping for more because I just didn't want it to end. But it was only 4 sessions, and it was a great game, and I learned a lot. Kind of one of the things I want to bring up about the Masks game, since we're here. One of the things that Lloyd did, which I found just brilliant, was the use of hashtags. So Masks is about, teenage superheroes and teenagers and phones and Twitter. And so everything became a hashtag. Like, oh, you find out this information. Someone posted hashtag GM time, hashtag, talk show, hashtag this, hashtag that. And it was so brilliant. It was so amazing. It kind of brought the world of, the teenager together with the drama that was happening and integrated it. That was pretty awesome. So you know what? Quite honest with you, I haven't yet played a Fate game. I've been going away. I've been kind of veering away from it, but it's on my radar. I've read over the instructions for like Fate Accelerated, and I just have to see it in play. It's one of the things where I'm looking for an actual play, and I haven't found one that really did it for me. So I'm just still looking. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know because I'm interested in learning about Fate, the gaming system, not Fate. The celestial thing going on or whatever, or not. But Cortex. So yeah. So for the cool thing about Cortex was, again, it was the first game I experienced where you were asking characters or players and characters to create some of the fiction for you. It wasn't all in the GM to create the world. So that was the cool thing, but the rules themselves were still kind of mechanical and disparate from the drama. Whereas again, I've now veered away from Cortex and toward Power by the Apocalypse because the mechanics directly engage the drama and the story and the fiction, and they feed on each other. It's all one big, you know, incestuous circle. Is that the wrong word? It probably is, but you get what I mean. But yeah, so it was good times. And I'm really looking forward to these new sessions. They're gonna be cool. Um, and as I kind of, again, I want to, I'm trying to spend some time on Discord and kind of get every player to come out of their shell and kind of talk to me a little bit. And I want to hear them chat. I've been asking questions and stuff, and kind of give me an insight into who they are. I want to, again, this game. Part of, I think, being a good GM is knowing your players and giving them an experience you're looking for. So I kind of got to figure that out. What is the experience you're looking for? And sometimes they don't even know it. So there's that. But yeah, I'm just very excited. It's a good time. I felt, and why am I doing two at the same time? So I do. I decided when I first started streaming that 10 actual play sessions was a nice round number for any campaign. It was, and so far I found it to be very true. It's not so long that you find yourself arduously coming back to the same thing. but it's not short enough that you feel like you didn't get to develop the character, or not a whole lot happened, or you didn't, or the players and characters didn't get invested. So it's mine right now. It's become a nice sweet spot. So the downside of that is doing, like, I'm doing them weekly, so once a week, barring, like, if I get sick or I have to be somewhere, or there are too many characters or players can't be there, which has happened, and you have to kind of knock it back. I make it so my campaigns still equate to 10 actual play sessions. So if we miss one, it goes just a week longer than we expected it to get that last one. So the problem with that is that it's that's 10 weeks, so 2.5 months. That's 2.5 months of play. And I'm also trying to establish some kind of streamer brand. And if you want to stream, the fact of the matter is you've got to do it regularly, and you've got to do it, like, it has to be often enough that someone is interested in coming back, and it's something but conversely, something to look forward to. So I tried to do other things. I tried, like, playing video games, and that kind of just didn't quite work out because I'd try a different game each week, because I got bored with one or the other. And so that wasn't really helping me out. I tried doing, like I said, the game prep session, and that the best I could milk out of that was 20 minutes before I myself was freaking bored out of my skull, because the games I was prepping for were so damn easy to prep for. So I just decided that, okay, so if I want to be a streamer, if I want to attract a following, and again, one of the reasons I want to attract a following is not just because I don't want to call it a measure of success. I want to. It is how you kind of build as a streamer, but also the games we're playing and the players I'm playing with and their characters are so amazing. I really want to share them with as many people as possible. It's a shame. It kills me inside when, like, I do a actual play stream and one person is watching. It's like, my players are doing such awesome things. They're making these amazing, you know, acts. They're doing these amazing things. They're showing off their skill as role players. They're building this incredible story that if you just watch it would be amazing. And it's a shame to me that, like, people, I can't right now. I can't get people to watch it. So to build that brand, build that stream, I got to do things all the time, and that means more. More things that I do well, and that means it has to be more RPG. So that's what I'm doing, 2 at a time. I think I'll try to stay with that. Let's see, Drug Dwarf. Do you still play video games, or are you just RP to quell your boredom? uh, I don't play as much because I really am much more involved with getting into, discovering new games. I have quite the extensive PDF library, and I'll share with you someday my hardback library. Um, but I've been doing so much RPG stuff, and I have a family. My daughter is grown up, so she doesn't require me. She's a self entertainer these days. But I really enjoy spending time with my wife, and that takes time, which I gladly spend. So between work, kind of just letting the anxiety of work and other things go away, by watching TV or watching actual play RPGs, which I do a lot of, and spending time with my wife, and then streaming, and then preparing for games. I found myself not playing so much video games, but here and there. I like MMOs. If the Dune MMO ever freaking comes out, likely I will end up dedicating a night to that. As long as you keep streaming, people will come eventually. Yeah, I mean, it's slow but sure. I think if you look at uh my Twitch stats, I think I have a whole, like, 39 followers, but I mean, a bunch of them were, I think I remember playing this one night. I was in the zone. I was playing Star Trek Online, and I was streaming it, and I was, like, in the zone, and I had, like, 15 people watching, and, like, all these people subscribe, not subscribe. I'm not a affiliate or anything, so I don't have subscriptions, but a lot of people followed, and it was just a great night of Star Trek Online, and I don't do a whole lot of that, so it's like a bunch of those where people who are, yes, I do have followers, but they're never coming back. So it's a matter of slow but sure building, and one of the ways that they say to become a good streamer these days, you have to have a presence on another social media platform. I've chosen YouTube. So all my stuff goes on YouTube, and though I've been falling behind on it, I'm looking to make like YouTube specific stuff. Um, Kind of build my brand that way with like role playing tips and tricks. I've only done one so far. I've been so busy, so I've fallen down on that. But so yeah, so that's my strategy. Do Twitch, do YouTube, and hopefully that that brings the right people are interested. Love your lighting and sound setup. Any chance so you can get a breakdown in text form? Maybe an about section. Oh, I should, yeah. So maybe I'll pop that in on something on the Twitch side of things, but it's not fantastic. It's basic stuff right now. Literally, I don't want to mess with my camera right now, but um, so I'm in my basement. It's a finished basement. Lisa's side is, uh, and it's actually I think it's become part of my brand, if you will. I have the same backdrop for everything. The only exception is the first YouTube video that I made, which I tried with experimented with the green screen. I don't know if I want to stick with that though. But yeah, so I have this one can light right overhead, and it's horrible. It is a dimmer. It is on a dimmer, but it's not. I really have to get like a soft white light bulb one of these days to make it a little better. Otherwise, I feel like I'm almost vampiric in my whiteness. This is just a Yeti microphone with a windscreen over it. It means I spit on it less, and etc. etc. Thank you. Uh, but yeah, and then the camera is just it is a 1080p camera, but it's years old now. Nothing really special. What brand is it? Oh, Logitech. It's like a Logitech 920 or something like that. But yeah, maybe I'll put that information down in the about section one of these days. But I mean, it gets me to where I'm going. Also, the most expensive thing I think is my Stream Deck. I got a Stream Deck for Christmas last Christmas, and I make good use of it with like changing scenes and stuff, um, and that kind of thing. For this, I really don't have a lot to do in changing, but when I like to keep my streams interesting to the viewer by having various scenes set up throughout the role playing game experience, like. Um, I always have my one scene which is just all the players with their cameras, so it's the biggest picture of them we have. And then I also have another one where I try to make this like a teaching stream. So my other major scene is where it's like all our cameras are along the bottom of the screen, and you actually see the Roll20 screen that I'm working with. Generally to illustrate something, to see a roll, or with the Power by the Apocalypse games, they all make the reference cheats so readily available, and they don't put any like you need express permission or to use this, da la la. But basically, I put like the move sheets out there, so then we switch there, and let's all learn together what this is asking for, or what you can do with this move, or what your options are, and that kind of thing. So it's a cool learning experience. So it's kind of cool to be able to switch more smoothly before you have to go, mouse and click on go to the scene you're looking for and that kind of thing. And the Stream Deck makes it a little easier. So it was a cool surprise gift from my wife and daughter for last Christmas, and it's really cool. But yeah, so we've gone over the time, so I'm probably gonna end it here. Again, I kind of talked about what I wanted to, and I appreciate all your questions are awesome, all of you guys. So thank you so much. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at with these. What the talk show is, don't be shy about asking questions. I'll answer almost anything. I want to interact with you, and that makes it that much more fun for everybody, I think. So cool. Thank you all for coming, for visiting, etc. And you're all awesome. And you're great. And I hope you have good role play in your future, maybe even with me. So I will talk to you all soon. But take care for now. Bye.